We just finished a series of unfortunate events, season 2, and we're ready to dig into it with an epic spoiler talk. If you watched it, what did you think? Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And we just finished a series of unfortunate events, season 2, and I'm super excited to dig into it. I'm a fan of the books. I'm a fan of this show, and I'm excited to talk about this season. However, Laura and I are more equal ground this time round because I haven't read the books in about 10 years. And
I haven't read the books at all.
And when we got to season 1, I read the first 4 books that were in the first season. So, I have it refreshed in my mind. And I was amazed at how much I forgot and how much I really still just love those books. So it was really cool to compare it to the books. This time my experience is different because I just didn't get the time to read the 5 books that are represented in this season. So I didn't get the chance to, go through those and catch up on them. So there were things that were ringing bells, but so much stuff that I forgot. The whole thing with the sugar bowl, it kept dinging that bell of familiarity.
Oh, and the sugar bowl is the cause of a series of unfortunate
It's the cause
events.
of everything!
A stinking little sugar bowl.
So I gotta pick up these books, man.
Or at least that's what they're making us believe.
Yeah, I gotta pick up these books, and I just gotta devour them again. Which, hey, I'm fine with that. It's been 10 years.
And I decided not to read them. I read the first 4 before the series last time, and I was I think that made me a little more disappointed in the show because it was missing things. Overall, it was still incredible. But I decided this time, watch it first, and now I'm going to dig into them starting next week.
Awesome. I'm excited for you to actually dig into them. That's going to be really fun. But anyway, so we just finished season 2. So Laura, let's go. Your thoughts. What did you think about season 2?
Well, first off, my favorite character was Sunny.
Yes!
100%.
That toddler is a better actor than most adults that are out there doing it right now.
I just sat there and I'm like, I don't know how they were able to get her to do everything they did. And there were scenes where she's conveniently not in them or she's below the camera line.
Yeah.
Because, it is a toddler.
But every cut back to her facial expressions.
It was perfect. I don't even know how they accomplished it, but she was my favorite character.
Sunny, the little baby playing Sunny was just... she was really good last season
too.
But this season, she's a toddler, and their funny little joke about that in the beginning, where they've been sitting on the bench at Allstate Academy, we've been sitting here so long, she's aged to be like a toddler. And so that was a little hilarious introduction.
Well, and they had to do that because it'd been a year or so.
Yeah, but it was just amazing how good Sunny was. I was blown away by the reactions on this toddler's face and all that stuff. And I'm sure some of it was CGI, but even
it doesn't matter, it's still good.
It was still incredibly good. I think a lot of things with her hands are CGI, but a lot of times her face could not have been.
No, it was good.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I had some of my favorite characters.
Oh, of course.
Nathan Fillion showed up, man! Malcolm Reynolds, captain of the Firefly, is in this season.
And I think his favorite part was when they were in the Vile Town.
Yeah, the Vile Village.
The Vile Village.
Yes.
And he walks in cowboy garb, looking exactly like Malcolm Reynolds.
Well,
not exactly.
No, not exactly, but it was enough to ring that bell.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, if you have not watched Firefly, hit stop on this video right now, grab those Blu-rays, and just go through all 13 episodes, then come back and continue this conversation.
And
Firefly is too important.
I guess. I enjoy Firefly too, but I think I like this better than my first watching of Firefly. I have seen it many times since then because of this one. Moving on.
I try to teach her well.
You also enjoyed Buster Bluth.
Buster Bluth! I think Tony Hale,
yep.
I think that's his name. Buster Bluth, showed up in this and in the...
Was not expecting him. I didn't see him in the cast list when I had first glanced over it.
Yeah, but it was just so cool to see him in that. And so, I don't know. I liked his role. I don't have too much to say about his role. He was only in the ersatz elevator, and that was it. And he was hilarious, especially when he, drank the sleeping juice. And
and they were
restaurant.
Dancing on top of him.
Yes.
That's pretty funny.
It was a short-lived role, but I bring him up because Buster Bluth is just one of my favorite characters, and I love it, when actors who play my favorite characters just show up in things. And so he was awesome. And the short time that he was a part of it, he was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he was enjoyable.
Yeah. So, what was really interesting, it's interesting to watch the Baudelaires kind of grow in this one, because, they start in the Austere Academy, and it's the Baudelaires that we know, And then they have to do more and more questionable things just to stay alive. And it's interesting because without blowing anything from future books, The Slippery Slope is a book that's all about them realizing the slippery slope that they're on to be more or less like Count Olaf. And it's interesting because I like how this show does it, and it lays the groundwork and it plants those seeds. And so, like, for instance, in the hostile hospital, this whole scene, it just, like, ripped my heart apart, where they stole that guy's keys to get into the file room.
Oh, I know, because he was just so nice. He brought them dinner.
He did.
He just
was chicken noodle soup.
I know,
family
and
recipe.
they knew that those files were his life.
Yes.
Like, he'd been doing that for years, and it's like, but they needed it, because if they didn't, it would have caused worse, and honestly, they didn't get enough information.
No.
Because the only thing they did was saw the projector of Nathan Fillion's
Yeah, they
yacht,
got all they pulled out was the
and-
film of the Snicket file, which was just the film reel.
Yeah, and it started off by basically saying somebody survived the fire, but we don't know which fire.
Well, it seems
It's probably the Baudelaire fire, but it could be the Quagmire fire.
Yeah, that was kind of, and it's funny, having read the books, it's like, I know somewhere in this mind is the answer.
Yeah.
I know I have it, but I don't
just
know
don't
it off the
remember?
top. I don't remember it.
It's been many years.
Yes, and as soon as they said somebody survived the fire, I went, oh, I remember this, but I don't at the same time. But oh my gosh.
We'll figure it out next season.
But here's what I do
Or
know,
when we reread
and
the
I
books.
don't think this is spoilers because, I don't remember much. But what I know about this show and what I know about the books, it's always about the setup to let you down. It's all about doing what it can to raise up your hopes so that it will punch you in the gut. Like the hopes that they got the Snicket file. And then all of a sudden, Esme, Olaf's girlfriend, shows up and destroys all the files fighting the Baudelaires, thus betraying the true heart of that really nice guy. I feel so bad about that.
I was really hoping you'd go into the file and see her shoe still attached to one of the
I
files
was-
and know it wasn't the Baudelaire.
Seeing as how I remember images from the book. Like, I remember her, like, going under the anesthetic. And I remember, the surgery deal. Like, I kind of remember that stuff from the book, but it's like, I couldn't remember if they ever got back to that guy and apologized. Because I have a feeling if he
Well, they
knew...
tried to in the show a little bit, but he just didn't trust him.
No.
Oh,
That was really sad.
It is what it is. But I mean,
Then we get to the Carnivorous Carnival, and at the end they have to burn down that tent.
Oh no! And it's not just the tent; they had to burn.
They had to
down
burn the book. They had to burn the book.
And in my head, I'm like, okay,
That
you
has
have
the
book.
answers.
They were throwing their costume back on so they would look like a pair or a person
The
with two
two-headed
heads.
person
and
in
I'm
the
like,
circus,
dude,
yeah.
slide the book underneath.
Yes, hold
You've
the book
got
there.
2 hands inside. And I'm like, but then all of a sudden you see Count Olaf help them catch it ablaze, and I'm like, there's the book. Lost it again.
Here's the upside to the fact that I forgot what was going to happen in the Carnivorous Carnival.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why. I don't remember that book at all. I apologize. For some reason, I didn't remember that
Doesn't
book
matter.
at all.
It's just
So when the
many years ago.
librarian falls into the pit and gets eaten by the lions,
I was sad about
I was like,
that.
I am not surprised, but that sucks. And then...
Well, because all the good adults are dying.
Well, but then it goes back to the other thing where they were trying to get Olaf to come out there and push them so they could throw Olaf down.
Which is questionable for them as children.
What's
It just
horrible is,
doesn't
okay,
end.
so my favorite episodes, though, are the Vile Village. Like, I think this season, the way they took the Vile Village book and split that into two and made those episodes, like, it was brilliant. I was so into the Vile Village. Like, that was my favorite. And that's the one where Jacques Snicket, Nathan Fillion, Lemony Snicket's brother, is killed, which I hated that foreshadowing, man. When Lemony Snicket is in the car narrating
But
with
you knew it
Jacques.
was gonna happen.
With Jacques sitting next to him, and he looks over at Jacques with that forlorn look, and he goes, if only I could speak to my brother again.
I don't know. I guess that didn't faze me.
It phased you.
I was expecting him to die.
Drop the front.
As soon as
Drop
the girl,
the front.
As soon as the girl got into the taxi cab and drove off, the woman librarian, and he stayed behind to help the kids, you knew right then and there
I
he
knew
was
he was
going
going
down.
to die. I'm just saying it doesn't make it any less sad that I knew it was coming. Point is, it's at what...
The thing is, how I feel about this show is it's like, I guess for me, it's like, I enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't get tied to anybody, except for Sunny, honestly. And because she's awesome. But the other characters, I'm expecting everybody to die. I
Yeah.
really am.
This show
at some point.
This show is a lot like Game of Thrones. The one thing you could really bet on is the people you come to be attached to and love are going to die.
Well, maybe
gruesomely.
that's why I'm choosing not to get attached to many people.
Yeah, this show and the books are all about the setup to let you down. But one thing that I kind of like. So I haven't read the books in a while, but it's awesome because I could tell this is still being very true to the spirit. Because I remember when I was listening to the books on tape with my uncle when we were on long road trips here in California, and Tim Curry is narrating most of those, and he's awesome.
Have not heard those.
Oh, Tim Curry is excellent when he's reading these books. But I remember feeling this frustration. I felt so frustrated that either the adults are too stupid to help the kids, or they're just pure evil. And even the good ones that aren't stupid end up dying.
Yes,
and
because they're trying to help the children, but they're still stupid.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I think of in the Vile Village, when Larry the waiter, and I'm not sure if that was Jacqueline, his assistant. Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, when they came on the motorcycle together, yeah.
They come out, and they're like talking, and I'm like, point out Olaf!
Yes!
Point him out!
Instead...
And they didn't. They just do this talk about this and that, and I'm like, come on!
Instead, the thing that is so frustrating about how stupid people are, Jacques looks nothing like Olaf, but everybody believes Jacques was Olaf.
Because all they did was make his hair like that.
And glued an eyebrow. And then they killed him.
Which they could have just ripped off.
And with circumstantial evidence, framed the Baudelaire. So now the Baudelaires are wanted for murder, and Olaf is off the hook because the Daily Pontilio reports that he's freaking dead.
And don't get me going on that, because I cannot stand Poe's wife.
Yes.
She just, any scene she's in, I just want to beat her. And it's like, and I'm like, it brings out the bad side of me.
It does.
And
You should see it. You
I'm
should
just like,
see it.
she needs to be off the screen. I'm like, because she just publishes anything. Honestly, that's what our media is like now. We just publish anything that's going to get us the big hits. And I just...
Yeah.
That's what I want to do to her.
We have not yet talked about the Quagmire triplets.
Oh. Well, honestly, I will say they have, at this moment, a happy ending. Because they're up in the clouds.
With Hector.
Who seemed like a really nice guy.
Except that whole thing was depressing. That Hector in the Vile Village had built this engine that would keep going on and on and on with the balloons.
To have engines or mechanical devices.
Yeah. I don't know. Breaking all the rules to build this thing, and then was going to bring the Baudelaires.
Yeah, but then he just wanted to stay up in the clouds forever. I'm like, dude, you admitted you have a mom in the city.
Just go to the city and live in our basement, make a YouTube channel.
Get out of the Vile Village and move on.
Exactly. But now, they'd be up in the sky and above all their problems, but that doesn't solve the problems.
And they're going to be thinking about the Baudelaires because those are their friends. And they kept saying, and that's what friends are for.
Yep. Well, now the Quagmires are up there in the sky, and because it's been 10 freaking years since I read the books, I was like, do they come back? I got to pick up these books. I got to pick them up. Sorry. I'm passionate. Yeah. All right. Final grades. What grade do you give this?
It's somewhere in the A range. It's not an A+ because I can think of a lot of things that I liked better, but I still really had a good time with it, but I'm in no rush to go see it again right now. Probably somewhere between an A, A-. I'm not completely settled on one or the other.
Pick one. Flip a coin. Pick one.
Well, I'm more of a pessimist, so A-.
Oh, right. I'm an optimist. I'm going to go with an A. What's restricting me from a plus is the first episode wasn't bad. But for whatever reason, I felt
slow.
I don't know if it was slow. I don't know what it was. I can't put my finger on it. All I know is when the first episode started, I wasn't feeling it. Like, it took me time to ramp up and warm up to it again, which is sad because I love season 1, and I've watched it 3 or 4 more times before getting into this.
Well, and it didn't feel like the same as episodes 1 through 4, or 1 through 8.
Like, maybe right where it picked up and we had Cake Sniffer Girl,
Yeah, she was fun.
Carmelita Spats walking them around and stuff. Like, I don't know. Maybe something about that transition from the last season into this was a little jolting. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
The point is there's something about the first episode that was harder for me to jump right back into it, but by the time we got to the second episode, I was dived into this thing, and it was depressing, and it was sad, and oh my gosh, there were some scenes in the Carnivorous carnival that I wanted to shed a tear or two, like just in the kids' eyes, like when the librarian lady dies.
Well, but they didn't see it.
Eaten by a lion. Yeah, but they heard her scream.
They heard it, and
they heard her scream.
No, I felt worse about them having
Somebody
to burn
gets
the book.
eaten by lions.
And then somehow the lions escape.
Come on, Lemony Snicket.
I'm assuming they escape because they burn the place down. and either they got burned alive or they escaped.
I'm going to assume the lions were burned up.
Okay. I'm going to assume they escaped.
Why?
Roaming around the hinterlands.
Why? Everything about this show is
Because
about...
I want him to come back and eat somebody. That's why.
On that note, what do you think of season 2 of a series of
You
unfortunate
think the
events?
lions are still alive?
Leave that comment down there in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian. Hit the bell by it so you're notified the next time we drop a movie review, theological analysis, how they should have done it, ranking video, or anything else here on Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thanks for checking out Durbania.